So I've done and documented a lot of the sort of walks in this area that I like to walk, and some of them are not so well known, which is why I started doing the blogs in the first place, so people could find them for themselves. But it occurred to me the other day I haven't done the most popular one. Anytime a tourist ever asks me what walk I would recommend, I always say this one, Pucks Glen. So this is the car park here, just off the main road. You park here. Now, a mistake a lot of people make is you immediately go straight up that track which goes up through the forest. Now that will take you to Pucks Glen, but it takes you to sort of the halfway point and a set of stairs. So if you go down those stairs, you've got a choice, go left or go right, and either choice effectively will mean that you miss out half the glen. So where to go? We're going to go along the old road, and there's a bridge that will take us up through the glen, up to an old forest track, and then what we're going to do is go along the forest track and then take a turn off that takes us along the top of the glen, and that will actually take us down through the forest here. But yeah, I'll show you, and as usual, if I remember, I'll put a map at the end. I suppose out the two ways of getting to Pucks Glen, going up through the forest is the most beautiful way to go. But this bit isn't bad either, and it's pretty straightforward to find. And like I say, we will be coming back down through the forest on the way back, so at least you still get to see that section of it as well. We've had a lot of rain this week. It's been a bit of local flooding. Now, usually when you get a lot of rain, Pucks Glen can be pretty impressive with all the waterfalls. But it stopped raining yesterday, and one thing about the glen is it does actually drain quite quickly, so you never quite know what you're going to get. So just after the chalets on your left, you'll come to a bridge on your right, and that is the foot of the glen. Now it's only about 5 minutes walk from the car park, but for me it was a bit longer because I forgot to lock my car and I had to run back and do that. Otherwise it'd be nagging me all the way up the glen. Did I lock it? Did I not lock it? In actual fact I hadn't, so I'm glad I did go back. So this is a bridge with a white Dunoon marker, and this shows you how to get onto the foot of the glen. Now, yeah, I was afraid of that. The river's not too bad, but I was expecting to see it a lot higher after the amount of rain we've had recently. So like I say, the hillside here, and this glen in particular, is really good at draining down. So even just 24 hours after some really heavy rain, you know, but it's still full enough. I've seen it a lot emptier than this. It's not bad.
As fast as it began, I see people that are breaking away, piling on like bricks on the floor. tendons for my eye. These bricks layer up side by side. I've hit a wall.
So I think this is probably my most photographed waterfall anywhere. Definitely in Pucks Glen, but I've taken so many photographs of that river waterfall under various different conditions. In fact, in the video up to this point, you'll probably if you follow my photographs, you'll probably recognise nearly all the landmarks, nearly all the waterfalls. I've pretty much photographed them all, but it's always different though. Doesn't matter how often you photograph them, always different. I sometimes tell people about the time I fell in a waterfall where I was photographing it at night. And this is that waterfall. Basically, I had a flash set up here to do some backlighting, and the flash fell off the stand, so the flash fell into the water. Went up, got it, came back down the stairs, went to get my camera which was down there, slipped and fell into the water there. Not ideal when it's like midnight and about 3 or 4 degrees temperature, but we finished the photo shoot and we got the shot. Okay, so this is the next decision spot on your walk. You've got these stairs, and just up there they split. So if you go to the right and go up the hill, it actually then joins the track that takes you down through the forest down to the car park. So like I said earlier, if you come up that way, you would have got to the top of these steps, and then you would have a decision to make as to whether to go further up the glen or turn down that track. And whichever decision you make, you're going to miss out some really nice scenery and lots of lovely waterfalls. Personally speaking, if you had to make a choice, I would go back down that way, because I think most of the best waterfalls are down there. But there's at least 2 or 3 really good ones if you follow on the walk. So this is where the stairs split. Up there will take you to the top of the forest trail, and down these stairs you carry on up the glen. Now if you did make a mistake and come up through the forest up to here, then rather than come down these stairs, there's a trail that takes you along the top of the glen, and that eventually comes out at a forest road, and it's possible to get from the forest road back onto the top of the glen and still see the whole glen by coming downhill rather than uphill. I call this waterfall the whale's tail,
because way back when I first photographing here, the water used to come down that flat rock and there's a bumpy bit in the middle, so it used to spread out and it looked like a whale's tail emerging from the water. Now, for the last couple of years, the water got diverted down the side bit, so it wasn't nearly as impressive. But I can see there, with all the heavy rain that we've had, it's obviously dislodged some debris and it's blocked that channel down there. So we're actually back now to having a reasonably nice waterfall to look at. According to my watch, which is a right little nag, I've already done, my heart rate has been up to 145, so I think it's fair to say that it's a wee bit of a climb for me, but anybody that's fit can pretty much jog up it. But 145 is pretty good. Should be burning off a fair amount of calories at that rate. So this is another waterfall that I photograph very frequently up here. This one I call the staircase because it's probably a bit more noticeable when the water's lower, but there's a series of steps in the rock and the water kind of bounces down. But it looks gorgeous at these water levels as well. Loud, beautiful. And if it wasn't so cold, I could sit here and just listen to it for ages. One thing still in my bucket list is I'd love to come up here and photograph this glen in the snow. Now, it's only been the last couple of years I was able to come up here in winter at all. But we never seem to get a lot of snow here. And if it does, it never seems to last. But I think this place would look even more magical in half a foot of snow. I think it would be awesome. Maybe one day, maybe this winter, it'll happen. And when you see these stairs, that's when you know you're getting close to the end of the walk, or at least this part of it. It's, to be honest, it's my least favourite bit of the walk because there's a lot of stairs, they're very steep. So if you come up here and you're already feeling a bit tired, you might want to take a wee break down the bottom first. But I think I'll save my breath from talking, and I'll talk to you when we get to the forest track. And this is us up at the top of the lower glen. I say lower glen because that trail there takes you further up the glen and you get to a point of open hillside, but there's a trail that takes you down and it'll join this track. It'll be half a mile further down there. And if you go, also that trail will take you to Benmore Gardens as well. If you take some of the side roads off it, the side trails off it, if you keep on this track, it will take you to Inverchapel. And if you go this way, it will take you to Cummun. So if you just stay in this track, it will take you down to Cummun Arboretum. It's a shame, there's usually a bench there. I wanted to stay here to have my lunch, but they took it away during COVID and they just never brought it back. So we're going to go on back, and we're going to go back a different way. We're going to go back via the top of the glen. As I said earlier, that's a trail that'll take you down to the top of the steps. So the whole walk is just one big giant loop. Now the cut off is just there, so you don't have far to walk. Okay, so you see the post there with the red marker? That leads you to this trail here. Mostly downhill. Not always, but mostly downhill. So it's a nice easy way to go back. I'd been coming to Pucks Glen for years, hundreds of times, and I thought I knew it like the back of my hand. But only a few years ago I found this other track. You can just see it, and it goes up through the trees. It goes along the top there, down, and then rejoins this track further down. I'll show you where it comes out as well. Now, like I say, it wasn't, when I discovered it, it didn't have all this stuff here. So it was a miracle that I saw it. I thought it was a deer trail at first, but no, it is a proper trail. There's stone steps at one point, and I think it was one of the original trails, because it's kind of hard to see now, but there was a trail that goes along there, and it comes out at the top of just above the glen. And there's some steps that go down to join the main track alongside the river. Now as you're coming up the glen, there's barriers to stop you coming up, because there's a cliff there, and it's pretty dangerous now with stones falling off. But I think way back when they first opened this place in Victorian times, you used to be able to go down there, down some steps, and join the main trail down there. I won't do it today, but maybe one day I'll do that trail there as well. It's not really that long, to be honest. Maybe I'll film it in conjunction with doing the upper Pucks Glen bit of the trail, you know, just to pad it out. But yeah, no, it is an interesting walk. I think it'll be too dark to film there as well now. It's sun's down, and although the GoPro's makes it look brighter than it is pretty dark in there. Anyway, so we carry on, and like I said, I haven't really talked through much of this track, because to be honest, once you're on it, you know, you're on it. There's not many places, there's nowhere to get off until we get to the stairs, and that's probably where I was about to say that's where I'll talk to you next, but I'll also tell you where like I say, the start of that other trail is. Some more storm damage from last month. Ah, jeez. The actual track's not in bad nick. Not too much water damage like a lot of the other forestry trails around here. But, I mean, God knows how long that tree's been standing for. Judging by the size of it, 50 years. And that was just one storm too many. And this is the other end of that hidden trail, just there. In fact, this is the bit that I first saw and came out at the other bit that I showed you. And I'm actually saying hidden trail, but anybody that was born and bred in Dunoon, I say, oh, I found this hidden trail. You go, oh yeah, I've walked it loads of times. So it was only a surprise to me. Apparently the locals knew all about it, which of course is no surprise. They grew up here, they played here, know this place a damn sight better than I do. So if you forget my advice or just don't want to take it, fair dues, and you come up through the forest, then oh, a bench, I have my lunch there. Just basically do my video in reverse, follow that trail till you get to the forest track, go left, Then after about 50 yards you'll see the stone bridge and you'll see the Pucks Glen trail, and then you can go down following the river. So more than one way to break an egg, as they say, or make an omelette, mixing my metaphors. But I'm now going to have a wee seat here and ignore my watch nagging me for not moving enough, and I'm going to have my lunch.
Oh well, that's lunch over with. Oxtail soup and ciabatta bread for anybody that's interested. So time to go back to the car. We are going to go down this way because I want to basically show the whole sort of loop for the video. But I'll be honest, half the time when I come down here I actually go back down those stairs and enjoy the lower part of the glen for the second time, but just going in the opposite direction. So you get to see stuff, you know, that you might have missed the first time because you're seeing it from a different angle. And something else I forgot to mention, where, I don't know how clear it is in this video, but where the bench is sitting, you'll see like an octagon shaped rocks, I suppose, flooring. That's where the original Puck's hut used to be. You can now see it in Benmore Gardens. They moved it from here to Benmore Gardens, but that's where it used to be. And there used to be like a chimney, you know, so people coming up here could make a fire and warm their hands. But I think I better go though, it's starting to get quite dark. Like the track up through the glen, there's not really an awful lot of direction required, because once you're on the track there's nowhere really to get off. And to be honest, the same is true of this trail here. Let me just watch my footing here. So probably when you get to the bottom there is a track that goes to the left here, but that just actually goes up and it joins that trail that we've literally just come down. So again, you might take a wrong turn, but you're not going to get lost. Getting near the end now. That's the car park just down there. So another couple of minutes and we should be there. Ah, that's new. It used to be that you could either go down there or there's some stairs there, so you could go either way. They've obviously decided that was too dangerous. So, yep, okay. Don't often go this way, but not much of a choice. Oh yeah. Just as well I've got hill walking boots on with good ankle support. I think that's about the third time I've gone over on my ankle. That's the trouble with breaking my ankles so often. The ligaments are pretty weak, so I do tend to go over them, on them quite a lot. So generally
I never really go walking anywhere unless I've actually got some ankle braces in my rucksack, so that if I do a bit more than normal damage to my ankle, at least I can get myself some support and walk out. Okay, looks like they've redone those stairs. I think that explains why they want people to use them. Oops. And that's us pretty much there. Now you can now actually see why most people go the wrong way, or in my view go the wrong way around the glen, because from the car park you've got an immediate trail straight into nature with a enticing bridge to go over. So of course most people will want to get into nature as quickly as possible, so up they go, not realising that they can come back that way, and not realising that there's a chance that they'll miss a lot of the good features in the glen. But anyway, that's us back. Thank you very much for watching. I think I've forgotten to record the route, but I may have some old route mappings that I should still hopefully be able to do a screenshot at the end of the video. Anyway, thanks again for watching.